Welcome to the Empowered Spirit Show. This is your host, Terri Ann. I'll explore the connection to the human spirit in a way that helps to navigate your life, including crisis. I am passionate about helping you to open up to your intuition and the metaphysical world of spirit to find your confidence in your own inner guidance. Take a pause, be inspired, learn ways to show up focused, centered, and more dynamic in your everyday life.
Welcome back to the Empowered Spirit Show. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me today. This episode is being sponsored by Ritual and Shelter. Are you looking for a magical place to shop and hold space? Check out Ritual and Shelter online or in Homewood, Alabama. Browse through their bookshelves covering topics such as energy healing, crystal healing, Reiki, chakras, auras, the Akashic Records, shadow work, astrology, and earth-based healing. You can also find herbal teas and tinctures alongside their crystals and oils to help establish a mindful mindset and fluid ambience before meditation, ritual work, and reflection. Ritual and Shelter is dedicated to providing one-on-one, in-depth conversations with customers to help them find the most efficient healing methods and resources that match their unique interest and energy. They offer tarot sessions, Reiki, sound bowl, and crystal healing, and now they are offering witch consultations. Visit ritualshelter.com to book an appointment and bring peace back to the body, mind, and spirit. You can also find them on Instagram at Ritual Shelter Shop, as well as Pinterest at Ritual Plus Shelter. As this podcast goes to air, I am back from San Diego, and it's my birthday week. I'm so grateful to be alive, doing good, offering the work I do, and I'm also grateful to you for listening, for supporting me along this journey and being part of my community. So much gratitude. I'm a cusp baby, meaning I'm born right at the end of the Cancer energy and Leo. So the older I become, the more like Leo, yet I do carry those Cancerian qualities with me. So yes, as this podcast airs, we've moved into the Leo season, and we have a new moon coming up July 24th in Leo. Leo is about opening up, being in our heart, expressing who we truly are, and setting those intentions under this new moon is so important. We are coming into a little more fire energy with all the stuff still going on, planets in retrograde, but it's helping us to shed the old energy and open up to our creative aspects of who we truly are. We're going to have that Lion's Gate coming into, which is another portal, opening us up and asking us to expand our consciousness. So allowing yourself to express who you are, to roar a little bit and set the intentions for the new moon is very important. Overall, this is a time to be bold, to be creative, to take chances with yourself and your path as we move into this new season of energy. So the summer boot camp has been happening. It's very powerful, breaking free of old emotional habits connected to food, addictions, binging, self-talk, all of that stuff we've been working with. So powerful, and is part of my new book coming out, Confessions of an Emotional Eater, the second in my series. It's been 10 years since I wrote that first book. But as I reflect on that time, and as I come back into Birmingham and look at this community and look at how I've grown, so important, this work that we can do, rewiring our brain and opening up. So when I wrote Confessions of a Shower Tapper, I like to say that tapping saved my business. When I learned how to tap, I was in the shower, tapping away all those limited beliefs, just returning to Birmingham. And now, 10 years later, I've learned so much. And one of the chapters that I talked about in the book was about body confidence. You know what? It's taken me another 10 years to understand more and more and really confess to be an emotional eater. So this next book will be about that and how we can get into that gap, because I'm introducing a new concept called gap tapping, bringing all of these techniques I've been learning these last 10 years, shamanic teaching, Reiki, breath work, visualization, my Toltec dreaming, putting it all together and using tapping to help us break free of those old patterns, get in there and break those connections apart, visualize how we truly want to show up and how we can keep the agreements with ourselves. So if you missed boot camp, I'll put the link to the recordings in the show notes, and be on the lookout for when I do introduce my new book. So all of this is part of my private mentoring. So I do have some openings if you're interested and want to do a little emotional work, especially spiritual work. Reach out, schedule a spiritual upgrade breakthrough call with me, and let's talk about your spiritual path. I've posted my Reiki classes for the late summer, fall, all the way into the new year. Be sure to check it out on my website. And I do have openings for Akashic reading, understanding more and more about your soul's journey. All of this is about caring for your soul. It is a daily requirement. We can't wait till the end to get there and then wonder, how do I connect? What's my soul going to do? No. When we care for our soul on a daily basis, we can live our life with much more depth and understanding and appreciation, especially of those shadow parts of us. That is where our growth comes from. So check it out. I'll put all the links in the show notes for you. So in today's episode, I continue the journey moving through the tarot, talking about how the tarot can help us open up to our intuition so that you can understand the journey your soul goes through. So I'm so grateful for all the responses about the show and about the episodes and how the tarot can open us up. It doesn't have to be scary. It can be a way for you to grow in your intuitive abilities, which is what we do talk about today with my guest, Dr. Sanna Wu-Pong Calvert. She is a PhD in applied positive psychology and has expanded her work in the integrative field of energy medicine with tarot as a guide. Before we jump into the interview, let's take a moment to pause and center and set an intention for where you are right now. So wherever you are, if you can, close your eyes for a few moments. Taking a nice deep inhale, breathing up the body. And as you exhale, call all your energy into you. Call it in. Inhale, expanding the breath up the body. And exhale, grounding, slowing down, burning a little sage to set our space. Inhale, expanding the breath up the body. And as you exhale, dropping right into the heart, right into the deepest part of your heart. Feel that connection, your spirit and the greater spirit. Know that you are loved, guided, protected. Feeling all this energy coming in around us as we take this time to honor where we are right here on this great wheel of life. Taking another deep inhale and exhale. Feeling that connection, your spirit and the greater spirit. Taking another deep inhale and exhale as we call in our Reiki master teachers, bringing a little Reiki forward. Calling in the archangels to open our hearts with joy and love. Calling in the crystal beings for amusement, magnification. Calling in your higher self to help you receive the messages for you. As we take this time to honor the season of summer, and as I teach, we find ourselves in the direction of the south, where we grow, we shape shift our life. We open up to that divine feminine. We honor this time. Calling in the directions to the south, the west, the north, and the east, above us, below us, returning right here into the deepest part of your heart. Setting an intention. See and hear and feel and know this intention, allowing it to radiate out all around you. Setting that energy. Taking another deep inhale. And exhale, sending that breath all the way down, grounding your energy, opening your heart. And as you're ready, blinking the eyes back open, coming back. So my guest today is Dr. Sanna Wu-Pong Calvert. She has a PhD in the Masters of Applied Positive Psychology, a nonprofit social and spiritual entrepreneur, visionary educator, and founder of two 501c3 organizations, the Foundation for Family and Community Healing, which fosters emotional resilience and well-being, and the Sanctuary of Earth, devoted to actualizing human spiritual potential. After a 26-year career in higher education, Shauna now works at the intersection of science, soul, and service, blending her academic background with intuitive guidance, energy healing, and deep facilitation. She is a Reiki master, channel, and Yen energy practitioner who partners with higher guidance to support healing, discernment, and the awakening of one's inner gifts. A prolific writer with nearly 100 publications and a regular contributor to Psychology Today, Shauna is also a former radio host and emerging TV personality. She helps others navigate personal and collective transformation by bridging head and heart, structure, and spirit. So let us welcome Shauna to the show. Welcome, Shauna.
Thank you, Terry. I'm so glad to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you. I'm excited to meet you. We're on the Ethereal Network together, so it's fun to get to know each other. And also, you're an interesting person. Your background is amazing. And I am doing this episode on the tarot, and I love how your work has expanded, and you do use the tarot. So what a perfect fit. Welcome to the show.
Well, I'm delighted to be here, and I love talking about tarot and all things spiritual. So thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. So I do like to ask this first question. Did you find the tarot or did the tarot find you?
The tarot found me. It was sort of a collaboration because in my mindlessness, I sometimes do things that I guess are divinely originated. And so one day I was scrolling through an article, my news feed, and it says something like, here are the 20 things on Amazon that changed our life. And I'm like, oh, cool. And so I started scrolling through it. It was right before the holidays. And I have like a $20 or $25 limit where if it's under a certain amount, I'll just buy stuff. And some weeks later, I receive a box of tarot cards in the mail. And I'm like, what is this? And, keep in mind, I'm an atheist at this point. And I thought, oh, did I order that? And I looked back and sure enough, there was an article that says, do you want to develop your intuition? And of course, at the time I said, who doesn't want to develop their intuition? So I just thought it was kind of weird and I just put it on a shelf, but probably within about 2 months of that time, I was coming back from my sister's funeral when we learned of my husband's stage 4 cancer. And I had a spiritual awakening in the moment. And I remembered that I had these tarot cards. And so I just went into crisis mode and grief and despair and just started pulling cards because I also realized that I really wanted to bring divine healing to my loved one. And so what better way to start communicating than to learn how to do readings? So I just started to do 1-card readings. I used the little guidebook. I found some online resources and I really liked Biddy Tarot at the time. And so that's how I got launched into doing readings for myself.
What was that first deck?
It was called The Wild Unknown, I think. Is that what it's called?
Kim Kranz. Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, that deck was pretty profound for me. I found that deck way into my reading, but it changed my readings. Yeah. She's gone on to do a lot. She has gone on to expand her work through all that. It's amazing. Yeah. So how fascinating. And yeah, I was going through a crisis, a big divorce in my life that kind of pushed me to my spiritual awakening. So I can understand that. We're trying to find deeper meaning, why, and helping and to resolve and working through grief. So I totally get that. And I love that the tarot showed up for you in that way, right? Your intuition was already out there, seeking for it, and it was already there. And then it called you again. So I love that so much. Now, you do have a degree in psychology. Tell us a little bit about that. Your schooling, your education, you worked in higher education. I know you write a lot for psychology magazines and publications.
Yeah, so I started off again as an atheist and as a Chinese American good girl. I went into a biomedical discipline, so I have a PhD in pharmaceutical chemistry and pharmacy. So, and a postdoc in metabolism. So, sort of a physiological discipline. And from there, I went into a teaching position, teaching in a school of pharmacy on the basic pharmaceutical science side. And I realized I had this horrible epiphany when I got everything I ever dreamed of. I realized I'd ruined my life, where the last thing on my list was tenure. And I was like, I thought I was supposed to be happy, but I was far from happy. And of course, I had this silly idea that a simple piece of paper saying you have a job for life was going to do a 180 on how I felt about myself and my world. And so I pretty much gave tenure back after about a year and went on a search for self. And but I stayed on to teach and do administrative work. And in the course of that, I became involved in leadership development and eventually got invited to lead the program on my campus for the faculty. And I had this epiphany, another aha moment that, oh my God, this is my calling. And I didn't even believe in callings, but I felt like I'd found my joy and my bliss, my place of excellence. And so I decided to go back to school because pharmaceutical chemistry, not surprisingly, does not exactly support that life path. So I got a degree as a master's degree in applied positive psychology, which is the science of well-being. So it is not a clinical degree. I am not a therapist, but we are considered practitioners to help people bring thriving and flourishing into their lives. So I felt that was a good place to do my professional and personal development work. I got several coaching credentials. I've always been a writer, given my academic background, and I had a personal blog called Silver Lining, and then I started writing for Psychology Today. So, and now I produce blogs through my nonprofit called the Foundation for Family and Community Healing, which brings these life skills for well-being through fragility and resilience into our skill set, not just our knowledge, but also our skills. So that's really where I've been focusing my degree, because I also understand that that there's a big difference between knowledge and behavior. And so way too many of the resources out there focus on knowledge instead of helping us change our lives, change our behavior. So, and our platform at healingedu.org, we walk people through behavioral change.
I love that. Yeah, you said so many great things, and the reason I do ask you about your background, because I think it's important that all therapists, all fields really, especially those based in science, can open up and expand in integrative therapies. And I think that tarot can help us. It's not the same as it used to be, like, ooh, devil's work or only special people. And I think it's so important that we can have a complete picture, which is what you're saying you're doing. So I love that so much. And the whole idea of intuition, I know that's kind of was my first tarot class in New York City at the Edgar Casey. Intuitive tarot, right? And it's like it takes all the fear out. Yeah, so who doesn't want intuition? I agree. And so I kind of follow that route as well. I'm not here to predict. It's like project, open up, read the energy, right? Yeah.
Right.
So I also see you're a Reiki master. Where did that come into your picture?
So during this time where I was learning to care for my husband, we were introduced to a Reiki master in the community. She worked with him and she offered to do a session with me. And so
you just knew, right?
well, I was just open to everything. I mean, I was in such shock. So, I was like, this can help me. I'm not sick. And I was told, yes, of course, it helps everybody. So I was like, okay. So she does a session and then she tells me afterwards that this, like an ascended master type spirit appeared, showed the healer her medicine. She was a medicine woman of an ancient Asian culture. And she told Heather to tell me that I could call her grandmother and she would teach me her medicine. And so, of course, I had been teaching pharmaceutical sciences, right? So when that invitation came through, I'm like, what? And so I thought, wow, like if this can help heal my beloved husband and my dad who was suffering from Parkinson's, then sure. And so I said, and of course I'm just waking up here, as a spiritual person. And I said, well, she's in the spirit realm, right? And Heather's like, yeah. And I go, what do I do? And she said, meditate. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to meditate. I had no idea what that meant, but she offered to attune me in Reiki. And so I started practicing on Chris and my dad, and I could immediately feel the grandmother moving through my body. And so partly I knew this because I took a course called, what's it called? Authentic Movement, where you really learn to just follow the wisdom of your body, your limbs, your movement. And so I took one lesson in that, and I applied that when I felt the energy coming through me. So really from day one, I could feel grandmother moving through my hands and my body. And I was literally like almost just watching my hands having a life of their own. And then when the session was done, I felt my hands just go to my sides. And I was like, wow, that was kind of wild. But I just followed it ever since. And it has since developed into its own energy medicine, which I call yin. And it's really what I practice exclusively at pretty much exclusively. And I also teach yin now too. So I feel very blessed to have had that gift be made available to me from the grandmother, and that I can share it forward with others too in my teachings.
So valuable. Definitely so valuable. Yeah. So let's talk about how you do work with the tarot now. I know you do readings, and you're a little different too and expansive in that you're working with the starseed energy. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So, I sort of fooled around with my wild unknown cards for a while. And I eventually, Spirit finally said I could have a spiritual teacher who taught me how to read. And actually, I did not feel very confident as a reader until after she passed away and bequeathed me her deck, which is the Motherpeace Deck, which is
Oh, Motherpeace Deck, not to interrupt you, I'm sorry. It brought me back to tarot because I had gotten afraid of tarot. I didn't know it, and I gotten afraid on my 40th birthday. I was gifted those cards
oh, wow.
28 years ago. Yes, and they brought me back to the tarot. I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, of course, you know what they look like. They're a round deck, and it's beautiful because when you're doing a tarot spread, you can read the cards with the traditional deck in either the upright or reverse. But with the round deck, you can read it like the face of a clock. And so I read it in like 12 directions. I don't know if you do that as well, Terry.
I know I don't. I mean, I worked the 4 directions, but I have never done it like that. That's awesome. You must draw me a card for my birthday.
Oh, for sure. And
Yeah.
so my teacher, Christy Gray, also, I guess the spread is maybe as it recommended. It's maybe a little different in hers, but I've adopted her spread, which is 13 cards. And the other beautiful thing is when you lay the cards out, since they're directional, they all point at each other and in the same direction in some cases. So you're really doing a reading of the whole spread the whole time, which I find just so fascinating. It's very relational, and it's more of a systems read than sort of the usual you pull one card at a time. But sometimes, like the Celtic cross, you read a cross and that kind of thing. But these cards all potentially talk to each other at once. And some of the additional synchronicities that come out. So for example, if a theme comes out in your reading, Terry, to be more open, you might have 4 or 5 cards either all pointing at each other or pointing in the same direction. So it just
I love that.
adds some oomph to the reading, which is so beautiful. And I will also say that after Christy passed away and left me her cards, I was like, oh my God, this is such an honor. And then like immediately I thought, oh my God, this is such a responsibility. So I was like, I better learn how to read from these cards. And so it was after that I was able to read, I think do a competent job at doing reading for others. There you go. And actually Ellen Malloy, who's one of the founders of Ethereal, I did a reading for her, and she said that the cards have a multidimensional energy. It's like a sphere around each of them. So it really is not only a special deck, but this particular deck is very special because it has Christie's energy all over it. And so I'm just unspeakably grateful to to have been the recipient of this irreplaceable gift.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that connection too with the mother piece. I really do, because it was what brought me back to the tarot. Yeah, and they talked about so much. I have a journal, I have a workbook. I'm looking over there because it's right over there. I mean, it was so important in my life. I started learning about the elements and the directions. Yeah, it was huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how
And,
funny is
and,
that?
and the starseed piece, well, I have to admit it was a little bit more of an accident because I've realized that the people that come sit with me are inevitably starseed. And I sort of specialize, like those are the people that tend to come work with me, whether it's for energy work or tarot or other readings. I can channel all kinds of stuff. And it's really to help them get on their path and open up, find their gifts, find their clarity, and move into the world with them in the way their soul or their higher self intends. And so that's what I called the show Tarot for Starseed. But the content director, John Napolitano, said, well, you need to talk about this more in your readings. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to talk about? He goes, well, talk about their starseed origin and how this affects them. And I'm like, I don't know anything about that. And, but I got this intuitive hit. Well, no, you don't, but of course you can channel it. So that's what I've been doing. Like I literally know almost nothing about all of these star systems and celestial bodies that people come from. But spirit just talks through me. And so there you go. So
I love that. Yeah. I love John. He is also my producer too for the my show. And I've actually been in one of his classes. The
uh-huh.
psychic development of the galactic forces. So it's been very interesting for sure. Yeah. So I'm definitely one of those starseed people for sure. And I was interviewing Barbara Handcloud on my podcast last fall. And I mentioned that one morning I woke up, I was working with the Lumerian crystals and had a lesson. And the next morning woke up like I just had a lesson again. And like all my information about crystals were downloaded to me very early into my spiritual awakening. And she's like, wow, I would work with that. You've been like, you're spiritually sourced. Like, that's pretty cool. And it was the first time anybody had ever acknowledged it for me. And so I started going into it a little more. And I'm really like, yeah, it's like I'm a little shy talking about it myself, which is kind of interesting, right? Kind of like you said too, but I know I have a lot of energy. And as we're going through this class, so much of it is familiar, which is very interesting. Yeah,
Well, I'll have to sign up
definitely.
for that because, but spirit's also like, no, spirit will teach you what you need to know. So, but it
I
is
think it will
cool.
teach you what it will, but yes, there is something about hearing it and working with it and practicing with it with others that has been really very fascinating for me. Yeah. I'm
Well, and
still not
maybe
really sure. I'm working with a galactic angel right now to help me with the integration, and she just keeps showing up right there. Yeah,
nice,
definitely.
nice.
Yeah.
You get extra
Yeah.
help here.
Extra help. Don't we need it for sure? Now, you also have some lovely not for profit work that you have since changed your career and all. Tell us about your foundation and what that work is about.
Yeah. So around the time that Chris passed away, which was 7 months later after the diagnosis, um, my guides came in and offered me my mission, and I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? But because I was just so unreligious and that just had such a religious connotation to it. But they I also felt like I didn't really know what else to do with my life. Like even though I was in my dream job at the time, I was working at the University of Georgia, supporting faculty success and well-being. I also knew that life couldn't continue. So I figured, what do I have to lose? And so they they suggested I quit my dream job and move back to Richmond, Virginia, where I spent most of my career, and put my life savings into starting the Foundation for Family and Community Healing. I got the name and the mission and purpose, the vision of it. And it was literally something that I had identified as a need in the community 10 years prior. Because, Terry, when my kids were going through school, I saw not only their classmates, but the caregivers and parents acting out in risk-taking behaviors. And at the time, I recognized it because I'd grown up in a family of trauma, my parents being refugees of the Chinese Communist government. And so I had to always be pulling myself up by my bootstraps, finding healthier beliefs and habits and practices. And so I knew that this is a teachable, learnable thing. And so 10 years later, here I am, and my guides are asking me to create a global solution for that based not only on my lived experience, but my degree and my practices doing professional and personal development work in the university and community for all those years, and to make it a skill-based platform available for everybody on this spectrum from fragility through flourishing and points in between. So we have a library of around 25 courses and growing for youth and adults, and to address this solution. And I really, I feel it has a global application. And so we're inviting everybody to participate. And for nonprofits and government agencies, we offer organizational scholarships so it can be available to everybody. I have another companion organization called Sanctuary of Earth, and foundation is on the social, emotional, psychological skills, whereas Sanctuary of Earth is on the spiritual skill development, because I also believe that what we're moving into, Terri, coming forth is a spiritual renaissance in response to what feels like unmitigated crisis in every sector of life. So Sanctuary of Earth is about skill development. So I have classes there along with other faculty. And so we're just getting started more, but we're offering community classes. And I hope one day we'll have a learning platform akin to what we have in the foundation. This is really important because of the massive shifts that are happening now. I feel, and I know many others feel, that we are shedding our old way of life and our old way of being. And so what we're moving into is so much more beautiful. We're going to access it through so much healing and inner work, and moving closer to the divine and our understanding of ourselves as divine beings, so that we can live in beloved community, not only with each other, but with and for Earth. And so all of this is a massive shift, psychologically, socially, spiritually, and we need the knowledge and skills and behaviors to be able to move into and to live in this new reality. So I'm very excited about what's coming, and very grateful to be able to play whatever role that is in supporting humanity's evolution into what may be a new species for humanity. So
we're definitely moving to a new species. There's no doubt. I mean, the starseed, the hybrids. I mean, sometimes even like listening to Ellen talk and John talk, and yeah, it's like, yeah, there it is here. And I know I am one of these people, whatever you want to call it, right?
For sure.
But it is. And so I'm assuming some of your classes, I mean, I saw some on your website, intuition, Reiki. Does the tarot come into this? You teaching the tarot, how to use it in your everyday life?
I am
Yay.
teaching tarot. Yep.
Excellent. Well, that is just so exciting to see that come forward and to bring all your knowledge, right? You know, it's like sometimes we wonder, like, well, what am I doing this for? But then you have this awakening and you reevaluate. I did a tarot spread for my birthday today, and the first card was the nine of in my deck, it's a nine of water. I wrote a deck. So the nine of cups. And to me, that's like the wish card. Like, what are you wishing? What are you putting out there for? But I also got the 10 of cups. And it was like, okay, let's just double check. Are we really happy doing what we're doing? What is that happiness? And I think that's really a great question, not just on your birthday, but to be asking right now. Right? Are we just on this treadmill of life, right? Or can we open up into deeper parts of who we are and drop into our heart and open up to expand that consciousness of what you're talking about with the star seeds, for sure. Yeah.
Those are beautiful cards for your birthday. Good for you.
They were really beautiful. And actually, I went from the Fool coming in. The next one I did the Celtic cross was the world.
Wow. Wow.
Right? So it's like, okay, like let's take all this knowledge and let's like repeat. And that's kind of my birthday wish, right? Like a year from now, I know where I want to be, right? And so it's like, yeah. So it was good cards. And I think when we can use the tarot for those reasons, it wasn't scary. It wasn't predictive. It was opening up to kind of where I'm at. And I thought that was so funny, the wish card on my birthday. So it's like, okay, perfect alignment, right? Well, yeah. So I think those are the ways in which the tarot can help us to do this. And I love that your work is really shifting and helping, and you have both aspects too. I mean, you've got that science background, but you're opening up into the integrative therapy. And then you've also got the not-for-profit and your other sector as well. Everything we can do connecting with Mother Earth right now. Yeah.
Yeah, for
for
sure.
sure.
And to meet people where they're at, because everybody's in different places. So
Yeah.
hopefully by offering it in many different ways and many different pathways that we can engage people where they are so it can be most useful and beneficial for them.
Yeah, definitely. I so agree. Yeah. And I will put the links for that in the show notes where we can find that information about your foundation for sure. Now tell us about your show on Ethereal. Let's talk a little bit about Ethereal. Let's give them a shout out. Us
Yeah,
a shout
so
out.
the tarot show is called Tarot for Starseed, and I do 30-minute readings for people, and it turns out most of them I don't know. So and they come with an intention, and if the guidance wants to talk about their starseed origin and integrate that into the reading itself, then we do. I'd say maybe 2/3 or so of the people that comes in, and I do the 13 card spread, but with the I might use a variety of decks. So I have the Motherpeace, but I also have a Rider-Waite deck. And I also have a Chinese dragon deck, which I like.
Hmm.
Usually one of those three decks. I have another show that I'm having to reformat called Spiritual Traveler. And I think it's going to start off as an interview show like this one. But my vision for it is eventually to travel around the world being the Anthony Bourdain for spiritual offerings. And so not only for my own spiritual development, because like you, I'm a show host doesn't mean I've got it all figured out. But there's nothing more fun to me than spiritual exploration and sharing. And so, my dream is that we'll hit the road and we can sample and partake into customs and beliefs from across culture and even time. Because in the end, we all have a unique spiritual personality and relationship with the divine. And I personally don't feel like we have to put boxes around anything, that we can curate and
I
choose
agree.
what works for us.
Yeah, I so agree. I just came back from San Diego and yeah, it was so great to be out there. Of course, what did I do? I went to a sound bowl class. Like, yeah, let's find something, right? Let's connect with people. But I totally agree with you. And when I was in the Reiki Rays, Reiki Rays, they're from Romania, but they're worldwide in their membership. And she had an online Reiki mastery class. And that's what it felt like too. Like from all over the world, we were all doing this energy and being in this part, creating this tipping point. So that's kind of what that reminded me of. But what a great idea and good luck with that. Yeah, so the Ethereal Network, it's moving beyond its testing phase. I think we're now found on Amazon Fire with hopes of Roku, I believe, and Apple TV maybe. We'll see. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's exciting.
I thought we were on Roku.
We might be. Yeah, I missed our
Yeah,
last meeting, but yeah, for sure. We might be, yeah. So it is exciting to see it unfold and develop a whole new way of streaming and putting work out there and creating a community is what Ethereal is going to be doing. Yeah,
yeah, and
definitely.
congratulations on your show. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, it's exciting. Soul Messages, a new show. I've got a few more to edit and get up there. And yeah, it's exciting to do. And I've learned a lot. And John is awesome. Yeah. John was on the show not too long ago talking about galactic forces for sure. So, how wonderful. It's so great to meet you. And as we go to close, I do like to come back and ask the question, how do you feel with all of your experience and all of your work working with the tarot and integrative therapies and energy medicine can help to empower the spirit right now?
Like I said, I feel like so many of our psyches feel beleaguered by the change and loss and chaos of the modern era. And to me, it's an invitation for us to open up and to dig deeper. And it's so beautiful. Like what's most challenging is what invites us to go deeper and to become more authentic and connect with a much bigger version of ourselves and each other. And so again, we all have different personalities and needs for our healing and clarity and growth and evolution. And so by being open to what is most resonant for us, then we can find our unique footprint and offering and path forward. And so it's shows like yours, Terri, that help people discover that and bring it to life.
I love that. The most challenging things help us to go deeper, help us to explore and open up to a deeper part of who we truly are. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, Sanna, it's been great talking to you. I love the work that you're doing. And thank you for being a teacher and having these foundations and helping the world to open up their heart as we all move into newer times, expanding our consciousness. Yeah.
And thank you for your
Thank
beautiful
you.
work and offerings.
To your spirit. Thank you. Yes, the tarot can help us with our intuition, bring in more awareness, help us with the struggles to go deeper and understand our spiritual nature. Be sure to check out Shauna's work and the Ethereal Network. I'll put all the links in the show notes. Thank you again so much for listening. Go get you a tarot deck and notice what all you can open up to as well. Thanks again for listening. I am your host, Terri Ann Hyman. To your spirit, namaste.